Well, good morning. Lori Weaver, Commissioner of Health and, oops, sorry. I'm ready.
All right. Call the Fiscal Committee meeting to order and mention that we have replacement members. We have, welcome Senator Pearl replacing Senator Blaisdell and Verza.
Yeah, go way back.
Wow.
I'm not that old.
And Senator Reardon replacing Senator Rosenwald. We have before us one item, the approval required to accept an expenditure of funds. So the meeting, this is dealing with the transfer of funds within Health and Human Services. And you'll introduce yourself and introduce the item.
Good morning. Lori Weaver, Commissioner of Health and Human Services.
Nathan White, Chief Financial Officer.
I'd like to just start off by saying thank you for all convening for emergency fiscal for this particular item, which is timely and of importance to the citizens in our state that receive SNAP benefits. The item that you have before you is basically to accept and expend money to allow the department to create a contract, a specific contract with the food bank to meet the needs of our SNAP recipients during the federal shutdown. So as of November 1st, we were informed last Friday by USDA and FNS that we would not be receiving any funds for November 1st. So our contingency plan was then activated, which was to engage with the food bank to increase access to and supply of food. So this is particularly for SNAP recipients. So we know we have about 74,000 SNAP recipients within the state. That breaks down to about 45,000 adults and about 24,000 kids roughly. And there's other numbers in there, but roughly when we're looking at 74,000 households. The amount of federal money that we receive on a monthly basis is about $12.6 million for SNAP recipients. That's a big stretch for me to find $12.6 million. I'm still trying to work out some of my budget, back of the budget cuts and otherwise, but it is far too important to not address. And so therefore, working with our partners of what could we do to increase that supply, increase that access for $2 million, we will be able to increase mobile food pantries just for SNAP participants. We have mobile food pantries currently. Those would continue. So this is in addition to that, but this would be specifically for SNAP recipients. So they will be required to show their card to prove that they are a SNAP recipient. We give the money to the food banks. They create the marketing, the campaigning. We give them where the need is in the state, who the recipients are, so we can target where those pantries should go. And pantries would be during the day, but also during evening hours as well. So it's not an 8 to 4 kind of thing when families can have access to food. So it is not certainly the full amount, and we recognize that it falls short of what they typically would get, but it would, again, meet them with being able to have access to fresh food as well. We also will be looking at the quality of the food, the type of food, the dietary concerns that may exist for folks. And this is a Band-Aid. I mean, obviously, it's not a one-for-one. We're hopeful that this will carry us through the month of November. We have a contract. Should you choose to approve this today, we will go to council tomorrow to approve your accept and expend, as well as to approve the contract with the food bank. We have designed the contract. I can't, because it hasn't been approved yet, I'm not allowed to officially speak about it, but I can tell you in generalities that we've designed it so that should the shutdown continue past the end of November, that we would still be able to have some flexibility with doing this, doing the work that we're doing here with the contract. So that is what we're here to ask for today, to be able to mobilize as of November 1st. And the last time I checked, I think that's this weekend, right? Saturday, right? Because Halloween is Friday, yes. So that's the time sensitivity. So I'll stop there if there's any questions.
Thank you. Questions from the committee members? Senator Waters.
Yeah, thanks. I have two questions, if I may,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman. First, let me say, I really appreciate it, Commissioner, that you're, trying to take action and protect these vulnerable folks and do everything we can, given the mess in Washington. And I appreciate the governor's, work with you on this as well. So I had a kind of one question about the feds and then one about how we're going to do the program. As my understanding, at the start of the fiscal year 26, there was $6 billion in the reserve fund at USDA for SNAP in case of a shutdown, and I guess there's about $5 billion in it now. Have you reached out to USDA about being able to access the reserve funding?
We received notice at the end of last week that we would not be able to access the contingency funding. But in regards to your question of have we reached out to FNS and or USDA, yes, multiple times. And sometimes we get people and sometimes we don't. And so we've had to work with some of our national associations, organizations to help advocate on behalf of states if we're not getting answers. So we've tried to exhaust, including our congressional delegation as well, every avenue to try to get that communication. But we did receive official word as of end of last week that they will not be tapping into those funds.
So about if I may follow up, Mr. Chairman, about the program itself. So could you flesh out a little bit more around, we were getting 12.6 and now we have 2, and that you thought that could carry us through, and then, maybe if we had to keep going, this is an important thing. But how long do you think it'll take to set up to actually get the mobile vans out there? So that, what date might it be that a family on SNAP would know about it and know where to go?
Yep. So I think Karen is saying it's going to take about 1 week to mobilize.
Okay. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Good morning, Karen Hebert, Director for the Division of Economic Stability. So in communication with the food bank, they should take about a week to deploy the mobile pantries and disperse food to a number of networks across the state. they won't order the food until a contract is approved, of course.
Yep.
So that's why they do need just a few days to set up.
And if I may, could you kind of give us a little more sense of what the food bank is saying about where they'd go? I worry about the North Country and just even getting information out. But,
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
There's a lot of families in Stratford County, in my area. We have a pretty high rate of food insecurity, surprisingly. But what are your thoughts about where
So-
they go and how they let people know?
Sure. Thank you for that question. So, of course, the locations are very important to us. We've been able to identify where our SNAP recipients reside in each town, what those numbers look like. So, in working with the food bank, we're able to also identify where do they already have mobile pantries scheduled for the month of November. So, we know that there are 4 of them. So this would add 2 additional pantries or mobile pantries per week. So we want to try to balance so that we're not duplicating the same location with new pantries. We're planning on touching uh, the mobile pantries to touch in multiple locations statewide. So it's going to be a little tricky because they are limited, and we want to be able to work with our partners if they need, if families need things like transportation, you know, or what are the community resources that may also assist them to get to the pantries. So working with the food bank has been a very productive experience in making these plans. And so in addition to that, really identifying where the greatest need is with the existing local pantries that they have networks with already, and where we would distribute the additional food to where really the greatest need is, but trying to hit as many communities as we possibly can.
Well, thank you so much for your work, really. Thank you.
Representative Wallner for a question,
Thank you. I have a couple of questions, if that's all right.
please.
So, how are SNAP recipients going to be notified about where they can go now to access this food?
We have an extensive communication plan that we are working on right now. It includes notices directly to the SNAP recipients by mail, by text, by email for those who have elected those latter options. We also have a webpage specifically regarding the shutdown on the department's website. We end up communicating directly with our partners, not just our key partners, but as many different partners that we can think of, including the New Hampshire Grocers Association, a number of the family resource centers, childcare, a number of different partners that we have to make sure that they're informed, that they can help us communicate to SNAP recipients themselves. We also will be putting out information on social media. We'll be asking the food bank to also publish the information on its website and its social media. That's in a nutshell.
And my other question is, at the same time that people are losing their food stamps for November, possibly losing them for November, there are other programs that will also be affected and will also probably touch many of these same people. Am I wondering about what other programs do you see that might not be available? I'm thinking particularly WIC and heating assistance.
No, it's a great question. WIC is part of our conversation as well. We did receive money at the last minute from USDA that carried us through till November 10th for our WIC families. We're waiting to see if there'll be more money coming through. That is sort of like a day by day and minute by minute. The energy assistance is not with the department. However, it's my understanding that they're okay until I think the end of the calendar year, end of December, is what I had been told.
Are there any other programs that might be affected?
I can tell you that I know the breakfast and the free and reduced lunch are not impacted, so those will continue at school. So Karen was mentioning, all of our partners, DOE is, and the schools obviously are another partner where we're really trying to make schools encourage families to be aware of that resource at school as well and to take care of it take advantage of it should they need it.
Great, and thank you. Thank you very much.
We had one other person who wants to make an addition.
Thank you, Patricia Tilley from the department. No, I think the commissioner covered it. I mean, one of the things just for your knowledge around WIC, we, as the commissioner noted, we are putting this together almost on a day-by-day basis. So we're going to need all of our partners to help us with that communication. We realize that it is not as clean as we would like, but we're happy that we will have WIC benefits at least through the first a week of November and perhaps a little bit longer. We noticed that in spending and redemption of our WIC benefits, last Sunday was one of the highest days we've seen, which is great. We want folks to use their benefits while they have them and to make sure that they can stock up.
Senator Carson for a question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. When you talk about food bank, which food bank are you working with?
The New Hampshire Food Bank.
Okay, New Hampshire Food Bank. Mr. Chairman, may I follow up? Your microphone. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, got to get in the habit of doing that again. May I follow up, Mr. Chairman?
Certainly.
Thank you. Is there any question about the reimbursement to the state because we're expending this money? Are we going to be reimbursed by the federal government when they decide they're going to open again?
So one important thing to understand about the SNAP program is that we do have a contract with a contractor through which the SNAP benefits are distributed. So the SNAP benefits you actually do not see in the state budget because it's drawn from a line of credit from the federal government. We're doing something outside of that, and I know that there are other states trying to do something similar. So ultimately, the question of reimbursement will come down to what is in the final budget that passes at the federal level. Again, this is something new that, at least in my short time with the state, I've never seen this before. So ultimately, it will depend upon the details.
Okay. May I follow up, Mr. Chairman?
Follow up.
Thank you. Has the department thought about doing a public service announcement that would go across all forms of media, asking the people of New Hampshire to donate to the food banks also? The citizens of this state are known for being giving, and in this time of difficulty, we don't want to see our neighbors, our friends, different family members struggle. So it would be terrific if the department, maybe working with the governor, to do a public service announcement asking people in their communities to donate to their local food bank to help. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, no, thank you. It's a great question. I do think we have thought in terms of our communications plan, to your very point, is that New Hampshire pulling together all of our community partners, even though we're doing a contract with the food bank, to be able to do that. But I think Karen might have a little bit more detail on how that's interwoven into the plan.
Thank you. No, I just wanted to respond with the work that we're doing with all of our partners and really asking our partners to be that voice for us to be able to express to people and try to solicit the support within each community, whether it's donations to individual pantries with actual food, or it's funding, or it's time, so that we will continue to ask our partners to work directly with the food bank to be able to support all of these efforts.
May I follow up, Mr. Chairman?
Follow up.
Thank you. With the New Hampshire Food Bank, are they fed by other food banks in the state? Or is it, if someone wanted to make a donation, it would have to be strictly the New Hampshire Food Bank?
So the New Hampshire Food Bank has 417 partners statewide in its network. So it's a bit of a two-way street, I think, for them to support each other, but it really is quite an effort that they make directly with each individual community, and based on which each community has for their needs that would serve, and what other resources each community has to assist.
May I follow up, Mr. Chairman?
Follow up.
is there a way to get a list of these 417 partners? Because what you want to do is to try to make it as easy as possible for a citizen to make a donation. And so it would be great if we could get a list of those 14 partners. And the senators and the representatives can put out into their communities, you know, if you want to donate, please donate to these communities because they're going to go directly to the New Hampshire Food Bank. So just an idea, because I'm thinking this is really an all hands on deck kind of project. And we want to support you in what you're doing. And if there's one little thing that we can do, it would be great. And like I said, New Hampshire people are very giving, very supportive, and we do not want to see our fellow citizens suffer with food insecurity during this time when this program is essentially being shut down. So I just, you know, we've got school kids that have food drives, churches. Let's try to get as many people involved as we possibly can to get us through this time.
Sure,
So
we'd be
just a
happy to
suggestion.
share that with Mike, the
Okay.
list of the 417 partners.
Okay,
Yep,
terrific.
thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Senator Gray.
Just one comment on that. It may not be appropriate for the commissioner or someone on her staff to actually do the request. The Bishop of Manchester, the Catholic bishop, is involved in this because of Catholic Charities. And it may be more appropriate for he and some other religious leaders or other leaders to actually be the ones that do the request. So again, I just want to make sure that we touch base with the attorneys and make sure that we're not getting ourselves in a bad position. So
Could even be the governor.
could be the governor. Yep.
Further from committee members. Director White, for the record, I think we should know what portion of this HHS budget this $2 million amounts to, so people will know. You obviously have a lot of flexibility within that to move this money around. So this is what portion of your total budget?
So the money that we're looking at here, it's currently not in the budget. So what this action, just to walk folks through the specific action before you. So there's two parts to this. The first part is accepting money. The second part is transferring that into the appropriate class line. The funds that we are seeking to accept, this is part of the excess Met revenue from state fiscal year 25. This is, in past years, we've had a couple of items where we've accepted an additional $11 million, $39 million, and $31 million in state fiscal years 23, 24, and 25, or yes, 25 respectively. And where that money comes from is we collect the Met revenue and we make budget assumptions. And at the end of the state fiscal year, we look at what we receive in rebate revenue, we look at what we receive in Met revenue, and we close out the year. And then the reason that we have historically accepted Met revenue later throughout the year is once we see things settle down, we see things, we look at where things ended up, those funds are available to support the Medicaid program. So these dollars are going into the Medicaid program as other revenue, and this is allowable under state law and in concert with SB 249 from the 2025 legislative session. So these dollars, again, go into the Medicaid program, and what we're doing here is we're using those dollars to offset the general funds, which is allowable, and those general funds will be used to support the contract. The contract is anticipated to be cost reimbursement only, so we would only pay for the expenses that were incurred. And if the federal government were to start back up a week or two from now, we would only make those expenses, and then the general funds would be freed up, which could potentially benefit the larger lapse in the long run for state fiscal year 26.
And again, for the public, spell out what MET is.
The Medicaid enhancement tax revenue.
Thank you. Representative Wallner.
Thank you. One thing that you just said brought up a thought to me. I'm wondering, how are you going to be reimbursing the food bank is it gonna, the $2 million will go all at once to them, or a little dribbled out during the month, or how is it gonna be
Sure.
sent to them?
The exact details of the contract are technically restricted under RSA 21G37 until it's been presented to the council. But what we do anticipate is a cost reimbursement basis on a higher intent or a higher frequency than what we normally would do. Normally it would be more of a 30-day, but given the time sensitivities and urgencies, we're probably looking towards a much tighter time frame and turnaround for payment.
So if I'm following, they would need to be ordering the food and getting the food before they would get reimbursement for it. They won't have the cash to work with. Is that correct?
So again, the contract itself is not finalized. Typically, advance payment is something that we do not engage in any of our contracting. It's typically always cost reimbursement. But what our goal is to do is to limit that time frame so that once they put the order in, by the time they receive the invoice, we're ready to pay them.
Thank you.
Any other from Senator Gray? Then Representative Earth.
I was gonna move the item, so you may want to take Representative Earth first.
Do you have a question? Yes, Representative Earth for a question.
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for taking my question. It's a double question, but they're related. What is the total amount of, for lack of a better word, unappropriated funds in the Met account? And what else can they be used for?
Sure. So I would have to go back and just conduct an analysis to understand where we currently are at, what we have expended year to date, look at outstanding liabilities, and then I think we would also need to take into account the anticipated rate changes that are currently aiming for December. And then we'll also have rate changes as well in July, and then ultimately utilization will of course factor into that overall percentage, but we can conduct an analysis and get back to you on what we're looking at. And this also kind of feeds into those other items that we've seen in past years where we've accepted those Met dollars into the budget. And what was this? I apologize, Representative Burke. What was the second part?
Well, I'm curious, what else can these funds be used for? You're basically taking funds from this and using them for the SNAP program. What else can they be used for?
So the Met funds are restricted to support the Medicaid program. We're using them to support the Medicaid program in this case, and we're pulling the general funds out, which don't have those same restrictions.
So you could use them for other Medicaid purposes. Is that
Yes.
essentially what you're saying?
Yes,
Thank you.
under the Medicaid program, as the statute articulates it, yes.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Senator Gray.
I move item 25-257.
Motion by Senator Gray, second by Senator Waters to adopt FIS 25257. Is there any further discussion? Yes. Representative Mooney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to take this moment to commend the department, first of all, for acting quickly, creatively, and proactively to address this. It's good to know that New Hampshire is in good shape despite a tough and tight budget season, unlike Washington. The reason why we're here today for a prolonged standoff. So with that, I'll be voting yes, and I appreciate the work that you're doing in this situation.
There's no further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. It is unanimous. Thank you for your work in preparing for this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Date of next meeting, we've already decided on November 21st at 11. Everybody's aware of that. Is there any further business to come before the committee? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We are adjourned.
Okay. Here we go.
Thank you all.
Yes.
Should talk to Mr. Gearing and see if the governor would be willing to do public service.